the reason why we're here today is to celebrate these three beautiful young ladies that are sitting at the scoring table. So let's clap them up. We're celebrating their decision to go on to their secondary part of their, or second part, or how can I put this? The collegial part of their education. So everything that we do in high school is to prepare you for college, and you guys have worked really hard to get to this point. So again, let's clap them up. I am not one for speeches, but I do like to share good things when I get them. So the first time that I heard the story that I'm going to read to you was during last year's graduation. And then last year, as I'm scrolling through my Twitter feed, I'm looking to see what coaches are doing over the summer, like how are they, getting their teams ready and developed. And I came across UCLA, and UCLA was reading this book by Joshua Metcalf. And as I'm reading this book, Chop Wood, Carry Water, I'm going, oh, this might be good for the team. Let me read through and see what they're talking about. And chapter 2 had the same story. So the story is building your own house. Bear with me, it's 3 quick pages. So the next day was hot and muggy. John sweated as he drove his axe through the log after log. His shoulder arched as he hauled buckets of water from the well into the house, and his hand began to blister from the friction of the axe handle. He was frustrated watching men, old enough to be in retirement homes, carry wood and carry water so effortlessly. But he kept working, remembering Akira's word, that shooting will come soon enough. Finally, after the day's work had finished, Akira took John aside. He handed him a cup of cool water and told him a story. He told John that in Japan, they had a deep love of architecture, and that once was a man named Koda who built some of the finest homes in all of Tokyo. His work became world famous due to the dedication of the process, his willingness to beat on his craft, and his relentless devotion to keep learning, even late in his career. Eventually though, Koda grew tired of building homes for other people, and he was ready to retire. He had been building homes for over 30 years, and he was ready to move on. He wanted to travel and spend lots of time with his grandkids. One day, Koda approached his boss and turned in his 2-week notice. His boss said, "Koda, we are forever indebted to you for your magnificent work you have done for our company. And we are so grateful you have worked for us for so long. We do have one more favor to ask of you, though. Can you please build one more house? It's a very important house for a very important client. And everyone in the company agreed it needs your special touch." Koda was frustrated. He would have to cancel 2 trips and postpone his new life for one house. He told his boss that he needed a day to think about it. After talking it over with his wife, he gave in and decided he would build one more house. But he told his boss, this is the very last one. But while Koda had agreed with his head to build the house, his heart was no longer in it. He had always been very hands-on through the entire building process, always selecting the finest materials by hand and making sure every detail was diligently tended to. But this house was different. He viewed it as an obligation rather than an opportunity. He delegated much of the work, and consequently, a lot of things started slipping through the cracks. The house would be up to code, but as it started to come together, it was obvious that it lacked the wow factor that Koda's other houses were known for. Koda knew in his heart that this was far from his best work, but he was over it and ready to move on to the next phase in his life. The next phase was much more appealing and important to him than the present moment. After 4 months had passed, Koda finally finished the house. He went back to his boss, telling him, "I did what you asked." Now, I'm asking one last time for your blessing of retirement. His boss said, thank you, Coda. We just have one more thing. Now, Coda was beginning to get really upset because he thought they were going to ask him to build another house. His boss reached into his desk and pulled out a very small black box with a red ribbon tied around it. He handed the box to Coda and said, we are so grateful for you, Coda. This gift is a token of our appreciation. Coda pulled the ribbon, opened the box to discover a shiny new key. His boss smiled. The house is yours. You deserve it. Immediately, his heart sank. Unbeknownst to Coda, the whole time he had been building his own house. If he had only known that the house was his own, he would have cared so much more. He would have only used the finest materials, and he would have overseen every detail and given it his all like he had always done. But now it was too late. Akira looked at John and said, the only thing that is truly significant about today or any other day is who you become in the process. Think about it, John. What good is it to reach the top if you skip the steps to get you there? Would you want the person flying your plane, performing your surgery, or handling your money to have cheated? Each of us are building our own house. Sometimes you might think you are building for your school, your family, your company, or your team, but you are always building your own house. I hope you build wisely. So the whole idea behind this story is to trust the process behind the things that you're doing. And anything that you do it at your very best. Whether somebody else is asking you to do it or you're doing it on your own. It's really important that you take the time for yourself. So I'm going to hand the mic over to my assistant coach, Jermaine Austin, so he can share some words with you guys. And then we'll open up the floor for comments from the audience.
Yellow. Same thing, I don't like to speak out loud, but I just want to say I'm truly grateful to know and coach these, I want to say young ladies, but basketball players. It was a pleasure watching them grow. One of my most disappointing things about the season was that we couldn't have these girls when they were younger and guide them through their whole basketball career. And I think looking forward to watching you and supporting you through your next level in life. And I'm always a text or a call away most of the time. Most of the time. Most of the time. But looking forward to your future and best wishes.
So now we'll open it up for any family, friends, comments. You can come up to the mic or you can stand at your seat. Either way, it's okay, just to celebrate these young ladies and tell them, wish them off. Sorry, no pressure, KK. No. I know this is not comfortable. Teammates, friends, family, countrymen.
Go ahead.
So, I'm going to keep this short and simple because y'all know I talk too much. 3 beautiful student athletes, furthering their education, furthering their basketball career. Being a student athlete is not easy, so being that they're furthering themselves, bettering themselves, taking the next step in order to have a bright future is a beautiful thing because not many people get this chance. So it's glad that you guys are grasping it and taking hold of it and making sure that you do something great with it. Better your human capital, I learned that from career and financial management. So, congrats.
Oh, now these two want to get you.
All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello.
What up?
So, congratulations to everybody there, but I'm mostly talking about Haley because Yeah, I know. Alright. First off, I'm gonna talk about Haley's date to everything. I'm gonna tell you why. Alright. When everybody did their FAFSA, we asked Haley. It was like, FAFSA? What is that? She didn't start. Then he was like, oh, we applied to like 5 schools, 6 schools. Haley was like, I'm gonna apply to 1. If I don't get it, I'm gonna kill myself. But Haley's really sweet. She's nice. Like, if she has the last dollar, especially if she's gonna give you that last, it's like last dollar. Yeah, smart, funny. Well, she thinks she's funny, but
Yo! Don't shake.
So, okay, I met Haley in 9th grade, and like, we've grown, and like, I feel like we've grown for each other, because in 9th grade, like, we weren't really close, but as like we got older, like, we just like created this bond. Like, it's like literally us three. Like, if you ask anybody in the school who we would be with, it's literally, oh, they're with blank and blank. It's one of us. Like, it's always us three.
I always see these three together. Always. Ain't no splitting them up, that's for sure. Ain't no splitting them up.
It started like with volleyball. We were all playing volleyball. But it's like we grew out of that. Like we thought it was just gonna end like once the season ended, but no, like we were really like with each other like every day after that, after school, weekends. Like these are really like my best friends, and I'm so proud of her because she's actually going places. She's very smart. And good luck. I can't.
Yeah, just real quick. And I don't need no mic. I'm loud enough.
I know.
I think Coco said it. I don't know everybody up there that well, but I will say it's really dope that, you know, along with them being athletes, they're making time to better themselves, you know, educationally, grant themselves great opportunities in the world. So I think that's dope. Best of luck to all three of y'all. And Haley, keep writing them bars. Maybe you're going to have to give me some tips one time. You're going to have to give me some tips one time. Now, because, yo, we were hanging out in the hallway, right? She spits this whole verse for me, and I'm sitting here like, whoa. No, I was blown away. It was dope. It was dope. Oh, you want it? Nah. When all this is over, I'll spit. When all this is over, I'll spit. Now, right, you heard me? When all this is over, I'll spit some.
All right, somebody okay, well, my name is Jada Yanino, and I've been in teammates for Haley, Jasmine, and KK since I was in 8th grade. And I knew a couple of them since I was JV my 7th grade year. But throughout the years, I feel like I grew a good sisterhood between all 3 of them. And all of them pushed me to better myself on the court and academically. I look up to every last one of them off the court and on the court because they pushed me very hard. And I'm just so proud of y'all that y'all decided to go to these colleges that y'all decided to go to. And with the practices, the study hall, all of that, y'all still maintain a good average to get into these colleges and good GPA. And I'm so proud of y'all, and I love y'all so much.
I've been around these girls for like 4 years, and I see them get good, I see them get better, I see them grow, and as a parent, you are so proud. Sorry. I just want to say, best of luck to everybody. Everybody. Push. Yo, this life, you get one shot at this. Make it your best shot. Give it your all at anything you do. That book, for sure, is right. No matter if you're doing it for somebody else, because in the end, you're doing it for yourself. Nobody else can ever speak on how you do but you. And you got to be satisfied with yourself. So good luck to the girls. And good luck next year to the girls. Any girls trials in 4 months? And we're going to need more players. No, it was like 7. What? 7 more. And you know, the girls who play volleyball, who can really jump, that's who can really
Talk to him, Joe.
Yes, talk to him. Because some of the best volleyball players make some of the best basketball players and vice versa. So don't think because you play volleyball, you can't play basketball. Only time you mess up is in the same season, maybe, or right after each other. So just let y'all know. Don't ever give up on anything you want to do. Do it. Okay.
I'm Haley's older sister, and I just want to tell you that I'm very proud of you, right? So I was in your shoes too a long time ago, and as Black women, you have to be proud of yourselves, right? Because it's hard, and like Dad said, you have to give life your biggest shot. I only had one chance, and I gave it my best shot, right? And I think I'm doing all right. So Haley, I want you to give it your best shot. And I know I'm not around all the time, but when I am, I try, and I hope I am your best role model. Right?
So, you know, I'm related to Haley, but I want to talk to all 3 girls. The road you have ahead of you is a very long one. I did it not once, but twice as an undergrad. There are days when you're going to doubt yourself. Why did you choose to do this? There are days when maybe you're not doing so well, but I want to let you know that just to keep trying. Remember this day. The journey you have ahead of you is much shorter than what you have behind you. You have accomplished so much, and there's still more to be had. So remember, on your down days, just keep trying, okay?
I don't really know about Jasmine here, but I'm proud of them. Well, Kayla's my best friend, and I'm really, really proud of her. And I love her so Don't kill each other, pick on me and everything. And we were just like, when we had our BlackBerry phones, we were just texting each other. Like, me and stuff. Every time we're in practice, it's just like one to one. It's like against each other. I'm going to say the person got me and her, something like that. It's just like two times that we doing that. We got no way for each other. Yeah, so now Haley, I don't know, you funny, but you think you're funny, but you like. Nah, but you're cool, you're funny. You're funny. To be honest, I'm rich, you're funny. That's fine.
Okay, so I don't do this talking thing, but KK, I've known KK. I played on our first Lady League basketball team, right? So I've known her over like 6-7 years now, and we grew up on. That's like really strong, and we don't talk every day, but when we do talk, it's good vibes and it's funny. Jasmine, she's quiet. When I met Jasmine, she was like, well, we're like each other, we're quiet, we don't talk. But when we do talk, it's either funny or it's something to listen to. And Haley, she's just funny. Like, she's just like that one. Oh, like she's just that one. I don't know that just stands out when you see her. Like she just gotta say one thing, and we're just dying. But I wish all of you guys good luck, and I love all of you. And I enjoy playing this season. I wish we could have made it further. I wish that we had you next season. But good luck to all of you guys. So as they talk about Haley being funny, I gotta just share this one story because this is when I found out that Haley was a teen troublemaker, and always presented as like, oh my gosh, she's the most sweetest kid. Like she would never do anything like that. So the girls did something in the gym that got their rights cut off to lunch because they used to get lunch before every game, and you know it was nice food like Jamaican plates, rice, chicken, anything they wanted, they had it for lunch. I forget what they did in the gym. I guess I chose to forget that part. But on this particular day, we were going to play an away game versus Mamaroneck. And it's about 2 o'clock and it's time to get on the bus, and I don't see too many people on the bus. And then all of a sudden, I see people just running past the gym this way. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, how does this happen? So we're sitting on the bus and everybody walks on the bus. They got bags of Popeyes. They got KF. I forget what it was. I don't know exactly. I said, you know what? Y'all got a game in less than an hour or so. I don't think it's nice to eat this food right now, but we're going to figure out what happened, and we'll figure it out after the game. Rebecca gets in the back of the bus. She opens up her bag and she starts to eat. All right, now, everybody, turn your food in. So we got the food and they got to turn it in. So when we get to the bottom of it, who was the main culprit for going out and getting the food? Haley. But she couldn't have done that by herself. And I share that story to say this. It was in that moment that they became a team. And that's something that Coach and I have been working on for a minute. Like, how are we going to get these girls with this new coaching staff to become a team? Nobody wanted to tell who was responsible for going out of the gym. They were all in it together. And even though it has a little bit of a side bad connotation. The outcome of what happened, everybody was safe, everybody got home okay, everybody got to the game okay, everybody played through the game. The outcome is that team bond. And it takes moments like that for the team to get stronger. And we benefited this year with a 16-6 overall record. As Joe shared, the girls did a phenomenal job going undefeated at home. Undefeated. They didn't get beat once in our home gym. Even after losing to White Plains on our senior night when we came here, there was no way we were going to lose that game. So clap them up. I think they did a really phenomenal job of making sure that everything went well for themselves this season. And honestly, I've watched them all blossom into beautiful young ladies. Flowers that open up, flowers that will continue to plant seeds for others and bring other people along with them. I hope you learn from the example of Coach Jermaine and I. Give back to your community. Just make sure that those kids that are coming up behind you have a way in and a way out of whatever it is that they're going through. Because a lot of you guys see a whole lot more than what some of your counterparts see on a day-to-day, and it's prepared you for everything that's coming in front of you. So don't forget the things that have happened, because they're going to help you along the way. Teammates, we were sharing out. Maya and Tanisha were doing their thing, giving back to the community with the junior achievement over at Graham School today. So this is the example that we want to make sure we continue to set. If you guys want to share, give your congratulations to your teammates, that's fine. The mic is still open.
You can say it right there.
You can say it from there.
Good job.
Short, sweet, to the point.
You already know.
Yo, can I just say what Haley did? GOAT status. No way in heck. GOAT status.
So Maya. Maya was a team captain, by the way, so she should speak.
Lady.
Congratulations, I love y'all.
All right, so anybody else who wants to share, the floor is open, I promise you, for another minute or so. Oh yes, I'm sorry Alexia, they got the food back after the game. Yes, and it was cold with no microwave, but they got it.
Yo, with no microwave?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
So I'd like to turn the mic over to these three young ladies right now. I know you all have you have something already written, right? Okay. So whatever you have written, you can share. If you want to add to it or subtract from it, not too much, please. Thank you. Our team captain will go. Jasmine.
First of all, I just want to thank everybody who came today, and most importantly, I want to thank everybody who supported me and who worked with me, helped me get better, and come to get to this point, and people who made possible to help me academically get into college and help me on my SAT success. Thank you.
I want to thank not only my coaches and teammates, but teachers, friends, and family who helped me get who I am today.
and have them actually sign, because we have two players who are signing a national letter of intent with their colleges. Is there anyone else who wants to say anything? Congratulations. Good job, guys.
Just have a good time. Do your best.
Yeah.
Hold your drums up high, please.
Give the best right. Give the best right.
I said hold your drums up. Okay, so LaKayla will be attending Tompkins Community College, and she will sign her letter of intent. Don't do it this yet because I gotta take pictures. And Jasmine will be attending Western Connecticut University. She will also sign a letter of intent. Haley is going to Host Hills Community College to study dentistry. She's decided to put basketball on the side, but listen, if you go there and you walk on, hey, there's a chance. All right? So, ladies, let's get prepared.
Yeah, my guy. My son. Your son is good?
Oh, okay.
What's today's date?
And,
And, you know, you didn't